Good evening. High pressure has brought a welcome change to much drier weather for most this weekend, but there are still numerous flood warnings in force, around 170 during the day today. As ever, there's more detail on those on the weather website, including a warning for ice for the night ahead. But the high pressure that has brought the drier weather this weekend is staying put, as you can see, through the working week. There will be quite a keen wind in the south, accentuating the chill, but for most, little rain in the forecast. It looks much drier, therefore, but it is already colder and it will remain so.
And that bad weather last week continues to have an impact this morning.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks, John. Yeah, the Environment Agency has warned that more homes could still be hit by flooding despite a cold snap beginning across the UK. More than 1,800 properties have been flooded across central and southern England. There are more than 180 flood warnings in these areas.
More than a dozen flood warnings remain in place in parts of Berkshire, Surrey and Buckinghamshire. The Environment Agency is warning homes could be at risk even though the rain's stopped. They're also urging people to stay away from swollen rivers. On Friday, Hackney Wick saw flash flooding when the River Lee Canal burst its banks.
Weather this week is going to be quite as dramatic as it was last week. Morning, Sarah.
Morning,
Hiya.
Sarah.
Good morning to you, John and Sarah. Morning to you at home too. Well, after all of that rain we've had over the past few weeks, thankfully things are looking drier this week. So still lots of flood warnings in force, particularly across much of England. But most of the rain has cleared away and it's turned much colder. So today we've got some frost and some fog out there. And for some of us, some wintry showers that are bringing some icy stretches too. But plenty of sunshine, I think, but more tomorrow than we're going to be seeing out there today. But again, it's going to feel cold. So only about 3 to 6 degrees tomorrow. It does look like the temperatures might lift a little bit into the middle part of the week, at least for a time. But the good news, really where we've got the flooding situation, is that things are looking much drier through the week ahead.
Hello, good morning. It's a chilly start to the day and we start the day with a warning in place for the risk of ice. A Met Office yellow weather warning valid until 10 o'clock this morning for more southern parts of the region.
Good morning to you, Sarah and John. Morning to you at home too. Well, thankfully, a much drier week ahead. We've been crossing our fingers for some dry weather. We've got it out there. We've also got some colder weather through the next few days. So some frost, some fog around, some of us some ice as well, but thankfully dry. Now, if you're stepping out first thing this morning, these are the current temperatures out there. It is a really cold start to the day. Many of us sub-zero, as low as -7 across parts of Highland Scotland. But across England, Wales and Northern Ireland, all seeing some sub-zero temperatures in places. So some icy stretches here and there, particularly where you've had that very wet ground recently.
Sarah, it's looking slightly less eventful this week.
Yeah, it certainly is. Good morning. A much calmer week of weather for you. Really good news. We won't be seeing any more rain falling out of the sky, not much more anyway, but the flood warnings really still in force widely. We've still got about 170 flood warnings, particularly across parts of central England and also one still for South Wales too. But it is a quieter day. It's a colder start to the day too. This is the picture in Portrush this morning. Beautiful start to the day there.
And this time last week, we were predicting all kinds of chaos with the weather. It's still having an impact, as Sarah was just telling us, but Sarah, it feels like things have calmed down a little bit.
Yes, some good news on the weather front. This week is looking much quieter. We started off 2024 with relentless heavy rain that's brought all that flooding and flood waters still very high. We've still got about 150 flood warnings in force, but the waters are gradually now starting to recede because we have got this drier but colder spell of weather. This is the picture this morning in Cumbria, beautiful frosty morning there.